Hello, welcome to another futile spluttering of my floundering YouTube career. Just on a very unambitious, underwhelming daytime walk today from Berkhamsted to Tring. They both Hertfordshire, possibly. At least some of it's in Hertfordshire. Going to do a little bit of cooking in the middle. Just something very, very basic. Pesto pasta, really unadventurous. I did stop briefly back there at Berkhamsted Castle, so I don't know if you want a segment of Norman history, a bit out of my comfort zone. Possibly was built by William the Conqueror's half-brother, Robert of Mortain, is it? Robert of Mortain, who was also the brother of Bishop Odo. Bishop Odo, of course, another half-brother of William the Conqueror. And I have a very unconvincing theory that he may actually be depicted in the Cerne Abbas giant. It's a motte and bailey construction and became a ruin at some point in the 15th century, and it's been in this ruinous state ever since. Looks a bit like a giant barrow, doesn't it? You of course don't need me to tell you that a motte and bailey type of castle, classic of the Norman era, it's a mound, usually had a tower in the middle, and then it was surrounded by the outer courtyard, I suppose. Is that called the bailey, the flat bit? And then walls on that outer perimeter, ditches, palisades, that kind of thing. On this one you can actually get to the top of the mound with these handy steps. And probably offers a lovely view of Berkhamsted. Also gives a nice view of the moat down there. I assume this was originally intended as a moat. Some Canadian geese having a paddle. Where I'm heading is off up there somewhere, into the hills, into the woods. What do we have in this section of the wall here then? Looks like a mixture of stone. There's probably some flint rubble in amongst that. I do love a bit of flint rubble. That's quite an appealing stack there, isn't it? Amongst the ruins. Have you seen enough flint rubble yet? Shall I head off to the woods? Getting a distinct Gandalf, you shall not pass vibe here from these Canadian geese. I've just got a new phone, I've upgraded. I've always had a Google Pixel phone. I don't know why I'm so brand loyal. Not even sure I particularly like that range of phones. And I've just upgraded to the number 9. I could probably even show you, but they all just look like a black rectangle of plastic, so it's not really much to look at, is it? Also, it's got a zoom on it. It has an actual optical zoom, so perhaps we can do a test of that. I'll put the GoPro there with its complete lack of optical zoom. I don't know if you can see there is a horse in a field over there. And meanwhile, that is just normal 1x zoom. That is 2x zoom. Zoom. And that, I know you're not supposed to zoom while you're actually shooting, but I'm doing a demonstration here. And that is the full 5x zoom. So that is a muddy horse in a field. Was it worth £1,000 quid? You tell me. I'm now in this, is this sort of part of Berkhamsted Common, something like that? Or area of woodland up atop the hill. I have a vague memory there is a golf course in amongst this somewhere or other. Maybe that's back that way, I don't know. This does definitely have a feeling of common land. I think at least one area on the map was marked as Berkhamsted Common. So this is somewhere in times past. You can imagine the local commoners would be out grazing there. Geese, pigs maybe, possibly sheep. It seems pleasantly unoccupied. So it is already probably gone 1 o'clock now, and I am getting a bit hungry, so I may just find a nice discreet spot to sit down and cook a bit of lunch. Going to keep this incredibly simple. It is just pasta and pesto. There's nothing fancy at all. Doing it all just in the billy can. First of all, Trofie. It's the pasta that's often used in Liguria, the region of Italy, that sort of armpit in the north-west corner of Italy, where pesto comes from. Most jar pestos are a bit naff, and the fresh ones from the supermarkets are also kind of not great really. But this particular brand, it's fiendishly expensive, something like £7 for this jar, but it does last for several meals. And this stuff I think is absolutely delicious. It uses this DOP, is it called, this origin protected basil from Liguria from somewhere around Genoa, I keep changing my mind about how that's pronounced. And it's really sweet. It doesn't taste sort of bitter like a lot of jarred pesto does. It's got this really sweet, fragrant flavour of the basil. So I think this stuff's delicious. And that is my little jar of pesto in there, decanted into a small jar. So that is that very basic BCB stove. Brought the little bottle of BCB gel fuel today. Trusty billy can on there, and I don't know how much water we want. That much. I think that's lit. Try and get that on a slightly more stable surface before it's too hot to handle. While the billy is coming to the boil, slightly unusual choice of wine today. I looked in my cellar and the only bottles I had of Burgundy were sort of really expensive stuff that I wanted to keep for a slightly more special occasion than a Wednesday sitting in the woods cooking some pasta. So I instead went for some English sparkling. Oi, lively. Did I say it's from Hampshire? I'm nowhere near Hampshire, I'm in Hertfordshire. Classic boot trick there. I wonder how many people have a walking boot with a glass of English sparkling Blanc de Noir in it, anywhere in the Chilterns at the moment. At home, of course, I would wait until that water was fully boiled before putting the pasta in, so that you can time the amount of time the pasta cooks for quite precisely. I might run out of fuel before that happens, so I'm going to instead put that in now so I can make use of some of this heat. Don't want that to go to waste, and hydration time and all the rest. That first batch of fuel is spluttering out, not unlike my YouTube career. Quite handy having this bail handle. That's basically the temperature control of this very primitive stove. If it is starting to boil over a bit, you just lift it up. Of course, you know, a bigger pan would solve this problem of it boiling over, but I was trying to go for a compact, lightweight setup again. I actually think that is as cooked as I want it to be. Still got a tiny bit of bite to it, which is good. Always worth remembering that the handle gets quite hot, so the little bag that the billy can comes in is handy for holding on to when you're draining. I don't personally need this to be perfectly drained. I don't mind it having a little bit of liquid. It will help to carry the sauce, especially this nice starchy pasta liquid. Right, here is my jar of pesto. You get the idea. I'm spooning something out of a jar. Not exactly cordon bleu. Trusty old spork. Might be better for mixing. Right, that sort of Parmesan cheese goes in there. Is that visible? Shall I get my phone out? My fancy new overpriced phone. I really don't know if it was worth it, but there we go. Who do I think I am? A social media influencer. I'm certainly not that. The only thing I could possibly be influencing people to do is to not bother to start a YouTube channel because it is futile. Very, very simple. Trofie with pesto. That is very nice. Has a slight flavour of the fire dragon fuel to it. It's like whiff of bioethanol or whatever that is. As I say, I think this pesto is really, really sweet, really fragrant. Smells of Liguria, holidays on the Italian Riviera. That is done. I really enjoyed that. So simple. I'm not too proud to scrape out the last little bits of this pesto. It's so bloody good, this stuff. The brand is called something like, is it La Favorita Fish? It's a weird name. Enjoying the wine as well. I think I'm just going to sit here for an hour and then I might walk back to Berkhamsted. I originally had plans to walk up to Tring to follow this. There's a nice ridge on the map. It's all open access land and you can walk all the way to Tring pretty much without leaving the woods. I'll have another glass of wine, see if I can be bothered, but I'm really surprisingly happy just sat here in the woods. So far since I've been sat here, I have been undisturbed by other humans, which is divine. Really bloody enjoying that. The absence of other humans. I'm going to turn the camera off, just be a curmudgeon all by myself. I've enjoyed sitting at the base of that tree. Has that possibly been coppiced or something at some point? I like the way it sort of almost spirals round. It does seem like I'm just walking back to Berkhamsted. I think that might actually be it for today. I'm heading back to Berkhamsted Station. Where's the emphasis on those syllables? Thanks very much for sitting through this jumbled mess of video that it's been today. Bye bye. Still seem to be filming.